All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started here. So, welcome everybody. Welcome, Nate, Anthony, Becky.
Yeah, hey everyone. First official X spaces, so good to have you.
Hey everyone.
Is that what they're calling them, Nate? X Spaces?
I guess so.
So, officially, our first X Spaces. Can everybody out there hear us? Give us a wave, give us a some type of acknowledgement if you can hear us. All right, good. All right, we've got some people out there able to hear us. Great. So, starting off Q3, as I said before, we are going to start doing these AMAs every 2 weeks on Wednesday. Right now, they're scheduled for this time just because that aligns more with, kind of a worldwide outreach opportunity. The 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock was a little bit harder because almost half the world is sleeping at that time. So this is a better time to reach more people around the world. And so with having a more multinational community, this was something we got some feedback on. And so this meeting will hover around this time, but it will happen every 2 weeks going forward. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, we've got some great updates. I'll start first with the wallet release. So, we've been in alpha for about 2 weeks now, right, Anthony? 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks.
And we've had some great feedback on that. We got our first purchases through the wallet a couple days ago. We had an influx of purchases now that you can buy crypto through the wallet in a self custody manner. So it's going really great. A lot of updates happening there. We anticipate the wallet officially releasing. We're going to do a public beta. What did we say, Anthony? Like here in the next 2 weeks, we'll do a public beta.
Around the 20th,
Yep, around the 20th.
right around that. Yeah.
Yep, a public beta around the 20th with an anticipated full public launch right around the beginning of September, right?
Yep, that's what we
Yep.
discussed. Sounds right.
So, a lot of updates in the wallet. We'll talk about some of those. We don't want to let the full cat out of the bag, but certainly all the ability to purchase crypto in a self custody way. We've got the process working really smoothly, where it's as simple as a custodial type of exchange. We're just doing it in a self custody way. So you have the crypto right out the gate. And I think that's one of the things that has really been a differentiator for us in the market is the self custody versus the custody. Especially in the space we're playing, we've noticed that a lot of we only have a couple competitors, and they're all custodians, and so we have a tremendous opportunity to demonstrate what the real power of crypto is, which is holding on to your own assets, and people are really starting to come around to it with the wallet release. Our ability to integrate with more credit unions. We've already brought on a few more credit unions. We have a massive backlog and pipeline of credit unions that we are in discussions with. And so that entire ecosystem continues to build out extremely well. And now with Becky on board full time, that's really helped out in the last few weeks. She's only been on for a few weeks now, but it's been tremendous in kind of the outreach and opportunities that have been coming our way with her coming on board. Anything you want to add to that, guys?
I can add just on the. I'll speak just specific to the wallet front, and then see if Nate wants to say anything. But the wallet testing has been really great. I mean, in 2.5 weeks, we haven't had any major bugs whatsoever. Not even one. We've had just little UI things here and there. So everything with the wallet is going really great. And I think it's a testament to our dev team and how well they've been doing and how well they did with the wallet overall.
Becky, I know you were unmuting yourself. Was there anything you wanted to add?
No, I was just going to reiterate, that the credit union community continues to be very engaged. I know that crypto has gotten kind of a bad name over the last 6 to 9 months, and but credit unions are still paying attention to this. And so there's definitely still momentum there. Hasn't gone away.
I think one thing that really helped us out here in the last few weeks was PayPal. Probably one of the bigger news pieces over the last several months is PayPal jumping into this. While we think they've made some pretty big mistakes in launching, a Solidity 0.04 version, which is like 6 or 7 year old version of the Solidity EVM compiler. And copied code, and it's just it's not a great showing out the gate. And on top of all that, they've picked ETH, which is additionally not great. I think it still shows that crypto is continuing to gain massive momentum with massive companies understanding that if they don't play in the space, the thing we have going for us is we're crypto native and we're building everything out the gate with crypto rails. And so we can't wait to share a lot more of that with you. One thing we can share is that we've got a new team member who just joined us, and she's in the audience. You can stand up and wave for everybody, Aaron. We just picked up Erin Cartlin. She's joining us and she's going to be our director of products and customer success. And Erin comes to us with a tremendous amount of experience in the credit union space, and uniquely, she's also a crypto. She's been in the space for at a competitor who's actually no longer a competitor, NYDIG. So she comes to us from NYDIG. She's got great experience. We got very lucky in being able to find somebody that not only had the deep credit union roots and deep credit union experience, also though somebody who had a passion and an understanding for blockchain, DLT, and the team continues to just, every time we bring somebody on, everybody on the team is incredible. And we just continue to amass this incredible group of people who not only care about blockchain and DLT, but care about the ability for nonprofit financial cooperatives to exist, which is our main goal. That's what our overarching kind of theme is here, is how do we create these low cost, regulated, safe financial ecosystems for people. And one of the first things that we're releasing, that first has to happen with a team, which we are amassing now, and it's just getting better and better every day. And the first major step in this is releasing the new wallet with all the new features. I think you're going to find that we've focused a lot on doing things that other wallets are not doing, especially self-custody wallets, in the form of security, in the form of simplicity with regards to self-custody, on-ramping and off-ramping. We've got some updates that are coming with staking. We'll talk about those here in a few minutes, but really want to welcome Erin to the team and say we're very happy to have you, and I'm sure the community feels the same way. We should get you up here on the next Twitter Spaces and have you talk. I'm sure they'll understand how great and passionate and a great addition to the team you are. So thank you, Erin. We're very happy to have you. So let's talk about something that the DAO and the community have been very interested in. So we've had, I think for the past month or so, month and a half, there was an initiative to migrate Hedera, or the BSL token on the BNB chain, to Hedera. And so that work is in process, and we're anticipating about one sprint, so about another week and a half worth of development. Development is active and is in process, and we're expecting another. So we wanted to make that process as simple as possible. We wanted that to be part of the wallet experience. We wanted that to be part of the web experience, and we wanted people to be able to, with minimal to no, need to understand what's going on, connect their wallet. We've made sure that, to the best of our ability, we've built security into, the ability for a scammer to come in and drain your wallet. We've put in a process. We put a process in place to mitigate and potentially eliminate that. We're still working through testing on that, but Again, always staying on the tip of evolutionary trends here, and this will be one of these things we're doing again, one of the first that we're bringing to the market. So the Hedera migration, we anticipate another couple weeks on that. We'll probably go into a test phase, very similar timeline to the wallet beta being released, and then the migration will open up to the Hedera chain, and then we'll probably end up making a proposal once everything goes smooth on the BSL BNB to Hedera move. We'll end up making a proposal to do the same thing on the Ethereum side, provided everything goes great and it's very simple to migrate over, which we do anticipate that. We do anticipate very smooth, scam-free kind of transition. We anticipate the same thing for Ethereum, and we'll make another proposal to migrate the Ethereum piece. Right on the heels of that, we've also begun, we want to make our staking, redemption, and workflow process around staking. We also want that to be an evolutionary step in how staking works. And so making that a native part, a native experience within the wallet, so that it's just a simple button click to redeem, a simple button click to stake, a simple button click to get verified. All those components are coming into the wallet and are in active. So staking will be coming right off the heels of the Hedera migration to BNB. And the reason why we decided to do that was that the staking was always intended to be on another chain to reduce the fees, so that people who were staking and getting a payout of $1 or 50 cents didn't have to pay $5, $7 if Ethereum was going crazy to get those funds into their own wallet. And so, initially we talked about potentially Polygon being that place. About a year ago, after talking with the Hedera teams and really understanding what the capabilities and the sophistication of Hedera, we decided to make that happen on Hedera. And so that's going to be coming off the heels of the Hedera migration, is going to be the staking, the ability to do the stake. We can share some updates on the loan that's outstanding. So the loan that's outstanding has been being paid monthly. Those interests have accumulated. So as soon as that staking goes live, all that essentially backlogged interest will be immediately available to stake against and claim against. And so we're really excited about making that available, making those components available to everybody in the community, and even more so excited about migrating to the Hedera chain. The new wallet, if you've been in the alpha, the new wallet has made heavy use and will continue to make heavy use of Hedera for a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Definitely on our decentralized identity, our verified component, will take heavy, everything that's happening that's not people buying and selling Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything like that will be happening on the Hedera chain behind the scenes. So we're really excited to bring some of these evolutionary technologies. I can also tell you guys that we've been working very closely with the Swirlds Labs teams and the Hedera teams to build out some of this evolutionary tech that we're going to be first to market on. Not only first to market generally in the space, but we're bringing it directly to the BSL community first and the Hedera community first, so that Hedera can showcase, along with BankSocial and our community, what this new world, this new Web3, this new decentralized, this new kind of financial cooperative model, what it will really do going forward for the ability for people to take control back over their finances, take control back over their assets, take control back over their identity, take control back over their lives. And again, that's our overarching theme here. What's amazing is that the entire team shares that vision. We know the community shares that vision, and that's both the BSL community and the Hedera community, which I'm starting to see the lines get blurred on a little bit, because so much of our community has become part of the Hedera community, and so much of the Hedera community has been waiting for us to release these products on the Hedera chain so that they can start participating. I think what you're going to find is that where we're unique, especially in the Hedera ecosystem, is that we're going to be one of the first projects that allows for direct participation. That, not only does it bring volume to the Hedera chain, but for most of these other projects that bring volume to the Hedera chain, you're really watching. I watch a lot on Twitter, and I see that the community gets really excited when volume goes up, when transactions go up. What's even more exciting, though, is being able to participate in that volume, in those transactions, in that ecosystem. And I think one of the unique things that the communities are going to find when we launch our next suite of products over these next several months. I mean, we've got a backlog of products that once we start releasing them, we won't stop for a very long time. And the exciting thing is that they're not they're all aimed at you. They're all aimed at the people. The conduit, of course, is the credit union, is the financial institution. It is all directed at the people. We want the people to use it. For you to get really excited about it, for you guys to be a part of it, use it, get it in your hands, and be part of that transaction volume, and be part of taking your assets back and your financial livelihood back. And that's the most exciting part of what we've been building and what we have coming out here very shortly, in short order, over the next several months. And so it's really an exciting time to not only be alive, but to be a part of these communities and be a part with this team. So I'll get off my soapbox for everybody else to say anything else that I may have missed, or anything else we want to kind of comment on, or and then we'll open it up to questions. Sounds like I got it all.
That was well said.
Very good. So why don't we go ahead and open it up to questions? There was kind of a lot of data in there. Until we release some of this product, just know that we can't talk a lot about it right now. Really, it's mostly because it's so unique in the space that we need to secure and protect our first to market capability. But happy to answer any questions as directly as we can. So yeah, just raise your hand, and Nate, you can pull people up to ask a question. One thing I'll also comment on is we made note last time of this, and we'll make note again here now. We have Block Advocates, and Block Advocates has started the process of creating its own credit union, and the credit union will be powered by financial and BankSocial products, tools, staking products. The SLP, the lending, will be a component of all that. And so if you haven't joined Block Advocates, when you join Block Advocates, you will have the opportunity to be the first in line to join that credit union and make history with the first regulated DeFi financial institution that we're aware of in the world.
Awesome. All right, we have a request here. So Celestial Being, I'm bringing you up to the stage. All right, you can speak now.
I think you got to unmute. It doesn't automatically unmute you.
Yep, looks like it's connecting.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
This is a lot of great news, guys. So I just want to say congratulations and excellent work so far. I know that you guys are right on the cusp. My question to you guys is, you mentioned that you're going to be bridging assets over onto the Hedera network. So will you guys be working with Hashboard? Or are you guys going to do something different to bridge those assets over onto your wallet?
So it's not going to be a bridge. So I'll talk about this in two ways. When we initially looked at this, we looked at potentially doing a bridge. Hashport is great. What we are finding out is that the Hedera network, unlike really all the other networks, the Hedera network is a great network because not only does it have preset tools, predefined tools that an institution or a community or a project can utilize to spin up. It also takes advantage of the EVM components of what the other chains have, where most of the other chains really only have a development studio in a compiler, either EVM or some other compiler, native compiler. Hedera goes beyond that and offers HCS, HTS, the token service, the consensus service, which expedite and really automate a lot of the hardcore development activities. And so with that though, it's just not your standard kind of run of the mill basic blockchain. And that means that the builders on this really, to fully take advantage, they have to have a very robust system. And as we were looking at Hashport, while they're great, they're not taking advantage of a lot of the HTS token features. And so as a direct bridge, since our token is more sophisticated than most tokens just in existence, period, we needed all those features of HTS to really truly utilize both our existing features and continue to evolve the token as we just have been doing in general. And so, but after we went through that exercise, we also understood that there may not really be a need, and really after kind of the whole last few months of what's been happening in the space, there's probably not a need to exist on Binance anymore with Hedera's kind of, the entire ecosystem just all around the differences being better. There's really no need to exist. So instead of it being a bridge,
That's a very profound statement. You have to be very careful now. You're sharing this. A lot of people in that community might take offense, but I like what you're saying.
well, I'm happy to discuss with any of them, and I have discussed with a lot of them because my words aren't empty. They're well founded, and I'm not saying that the technology is poor. There's so many more decisions that go into this space right now, especially right now, that's outside of the technology layer. Certainly, technology. Happy to debate. A lot of people on the differences in the technology, and I think we would have a very healthy debate. Alongside that, though, are regulatory concerns, security concerns. There's so many factors that go into it, and we would take a comprehensive look at it. We presented to the community the possibility of, instead of a bridge, a entire migration of the liquidity, because one of the concerns with bridging, and this is not a Hashport concern because I think they do a great job of it, this is just a bridge concern in general, is that you have the possibility of a double spend on a hack where somebody can drain both sides or one side, and then you're left with a lacking liquidity, and who's going to make that up. And so when we looked at it comprehensively, the answer at the end, or the question we started with, was, why do we need to bridge and why do we need to live on both chains? And the answer ultimately ended up being, at least for the BNB side, we don't. And it would be better if we just migrated entirely. Because at the end of the day, the future of crypto is not in knowing that you're using BNB chain versus Ethereum chain versus Algorand chain or Hedera. The future of crypto, just like the future of the past banking, you didn't know that you were on a Oracle database versus a Microsoft database. The banks don't make you write SQL queries to get your balances out of, and really that's what we're bringing to this space, is the evolution and sophistication of, you shouldn't need to know where you're at. As a business, we need to evaluate what's best for the consumer, what's best for the business, and then that spans over not just the technology, but the fee structure, the regulatory structure, the security structure. And really, there's no better opportunity and solution in the market right now, at least right now, than Hedera. And I can tell you that this is not us looking at it. If you go and look at our team, it's a team with tremendous amount of experience and sophistication, not just in technology, but in financial technology, financial services, across the board, for everywhere. Look at Becky's resume, look at Aaron's resume, look at, the team's resume here. And when we bring all that experience to the table, and then we look at all the options in the market, it really is a head above everything else that's out on the market. And so that's what ended up being our, and this was a community decision. This wasn't BankSocial Financial as a company making a decision and forcing the community to go one way or another. This was the community talking with the Hedera community and looking at what Hedera has to offer and making a decision, a voted on decision, a democratic decision to entirely migrate from the Binance chain to the Hedera chain. And so I think that speaks a lot to what we're talking about. And it's not just us. I think that's one of the really cool things about how these future ecosystems will play out is they can be more democratic. They can be more user controlled while still having, safeguards in place to making sure it's not just some, random VC who holds a lot of tokens to, force the network into something it doesn't want to do. So it's certainly not something we came to a quick decision on. If you know kind of our history, while we do like to bring kind of evolutionary product forward, we don't like to do it without well thought out planned execution, so that when we bring something to the market, we're not bringing another bridge hack to the market, we're not bringing another Celsius to the market, we're not bringing another Aave hack or curve finance hack to the market. A lot of the stuff we do is done with I would say all the stuff we do is done with a very hefty focus on multi-factor set of considerations that drive those decisions. Because one thing that's unique here is it's not a rollback of a database if something goes wrong, right? If you get a hack, it's a hack. It's an immutable hack, as we like to say. And so we've just got to make sure that simplicity, ease of use, security, safety, they're all bundled in and they're all well thought through. And again, working very closely with the Swirlds Labs teams, having the access we've had to those great minds over there has really given us the ability to get an edge on these future financial systems. And I think you guys are going to be extremely excited because, again, it goes back to these are not just going to be tools that you can watch and see. These are going to be tools that you can participate in and potentially benefit from, as we continue to release these products. Very exciting, with our decentralized identity. We've got some other really cool tech that we talked about before in how we can do basically, secure your keys in your wallet. I'm not going to go too much more into that, but without needing a custodian, you can secure your keys in your wallet. Wait, what? Yes, this is the kind of future that we're bringing along with the Swirlds Labs teams and the Hedera team to the future, because we all are heavily vested in the future of Web3 and the future of people taking back control in a self-custody way.
Thank you for that. I just have two questions. One is there anything else that you guys see on the development roadmap, since you guys are working so closely with Swirlds Lab, that they need to deliver for you guys to launch your product or make it more robust? And then my second question is so what does the future look like for you guys for 6-9 months and maybe a year out? And then what kind of engagement do you look for the community to provide to support you basically at your launch in those time period, 6 to 9 months to a year? I think you went back on mute.
Yeah, sorry, man. I said some really great stuff too, and I forgot what I said. No, the great thing is that there is nothing that we need from the Hedera that does not exist already. And the greatness of Hedera is the simplicity and the robustness of that simplicity, right? They've built something that can scale. I'm hesitant to use the word infinitely, though can scale orders of magnitude over anything else in the market. And so that's a big feature that Hedera has given us just by inherently releasing the hash graph. And so in addition to that, every product that we're building has a solution that's already delivered on from Hedera. And so we're not waiting. And that's really kind of coming back to why it's been a little bit more difficult for us to participate with some of the other solutions that are already out there on the Hedera side, is that the Hedera chain has so much available that we're taking advantage of, that we had to go out and build some of our own solutions to fully take advantage of those, as opposed to, we wanted to partner, we tried to partner, and it's not that these other solutions aren't great and they're not excellent solutions on Hedera. It's just, we're taking things in order of magnitude more robust, and are finding out that we've just got to build out a lot of this stuff ourselves. Though the Hedera side of the equation, we've been utilizing them not to ask them to build stuff for us, but to ask them to help us vet through the security, the implementation, the delivery, all those things. So I would say that where we are right now, if we're looking out in the next 6 to 9 months, we're going to be starting to deliver some really great products. The wallet will be the first iteration, brand new, written from scratch, 100%, native implementation of Hedera, HTS. It will eventually have HCS, fungible, non-fungible, everything you would need in a wallet, and then layering in all of those components. Some of them we haven't even been able to talk about, but the decentralized identity, for example, that all will live as a non-fungible HTS token on chain. It'll help tie back security, who you're working with, who you're sending money to. Just give us a future platform to outlast and outperform the current financial system, but also to incorporate the current financial system, because we all want the security of knowing that we're playing with people that we want to be playing with, and not playing with some scammer who's just figured out a way to scam me out of my tokens. And so the next 6 to 9 months, I think 6 to 9 months is far. We're talking more 3 to 6 months in a lot of this delivery. Certainly it will continue out 6 to 9 months. Any engagement on Twitter is great. I think what's greater is going to be your ability, again, to utilize the software and to pull it into your hands and to be part. I know there are a lot of great corporate use cases going on with Hedera right now, and those are great. We love them. I mean, love the fact that Kia Motors and Hyundai are working on the Hedera chain. That's just a testament to the sophistication and its ability to support. Though we also want to be a part of that, meaning as a consumer, as a customer, as a member, we want to be able to participate in some of that too. And DeFi is great, and it's a foot in the door. But there are so many more features. If we're talking about replacing a bank, if we're talking about replacing a financial institution, there's so many more features than just staking, than just trading. The ability to peer-to-peer pay, the ability to identify yourself, the ability to, schedule payments. I mean, there's so many different components of a financial ecosystem that you need to have, that the people need to have. So that's the most exciting part of the next 3 to 6 months, is getting those tools in your hands and having those people play around with them, and get the benefit of not only seeing the transaction volume and count go up, but being the person who's actually driving that transaction volume and getting the benefit, not only being able to use it, but getting the benefit of now maybe being able to reduce reliance upon a Chase Bank or a centralized financial institution, and taking control of your finance and your financial capabilities in a decentralized, self-custodial way.
You just made my day. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Some great questions there. Really appreciate it, Celestial.
Yeah, great questions. All right, Sal is up next. Going to bring you up. All right, it's just going to connect, Sal, and then you'll have to unmute yourself.
Hi, John. Salvador here, long-time listener, first-time caller. So I've got 3 questions. First, is there going to be any sort of locking up of tokens for any period of time while staking? And if not, how will those rewards be determined? Is it by day, by week, by hour? Question number two is, I like what I'm seeing and what I hear about all of the partnerships that we have with CUs, but you mentioned Kia Motors and another automaker getting involved in I'm not sure if it's crypto or DeFi, but what sort of vision do you see in working with companies like that in the future? And also, lastly, what does it look like to do a BankSocial conference? Is it looking like we can do it within the next few months, within a year or two? Give me your thoughts on that.
Thanks, Sal. So first, talking about locking up of tokens. So the way we built this out, remember, unlike other staking solutions where you're putting your tokens in a pool so that they, for example, on Aave or on some of these other things, you put your tokens and you risk your tokens in that pool. That's not the same type of staking we're talking about. And as far as locking up tokens, technically the tokens are liquid staked, so you can pull them out anytime. There's no, like when you go stake on Aave, there are lock times that you have to adhere to, and you can't take your tokens out for periods of time. The BankSocial token staking will not work the same. It'll just limit the amount of participation you can do. And so I think right now the way we did it was a daily compound with the maximum being reached over a period of time. So if you liquid staked your tokens and you got out, you can pull them out anytime. After 1 minute, you can pull them out, or you can leave them in there for a longer period of time. And once you got to the full vest, I can't remember exactly what it is right now, but the full vest is, let's call it 2 months or 3 months. Once you got to the full vest, you would have the ability to collect the full amount of the vest. But you can pull out at any time, and you can still continue to collect even if you pull out for a shorter period of time. It just wouldn't be the full vest. Okay. Now, on the vision of working with CeFi companies, so what we can say is, most certainly is that they're getting involved. Just look at what PayPal did, right? PayPal partnered up with Paxos, and they released a stable coin. The Hyundai and Kia Motors, they're not working directly with us. They've tokenized carbon offsets on, for their manufacturing process on the Hedera chain. I think what's going to end up happening is these CeFi, these centralized companies that need, traditional financial tools, will start to understand as these markets become more liquid, because that's really one of the biggest challenges in these markets is a liquid market, right? If the market is not liquid, doesn't matter how fast it can move if you can't get any money out of it. And so as these markets continue to get more liquid, which they are almost daily, you see more and more financial kind of backing moving on chain. As these markets get more and more liquid, they're going to really start to understand the benefit. I mean, you see companies like Fresh & Co., where they're doing essentially flash loan financing or flash loan funding on receivables as they hit the dock. This kind of technology with a bank. If you look at how banks work and how ACH works, or how Wire works, or even how RTP works, some of these kind of newer technologies that are still not blockchain and still real-time settlement, there are so many intermediaries that have to get in the way, so many systems that have to get touched. With Fresh & Co., it can literally happen where the product is tokenized. It's got an RFID identifier. As soon as it hits the dock, there's a scan of the RFID identifier. The on-chain gets triggered to release the funds. I mean, there's so much cutting out of middlemen that the CeFi community, the CeFi kind of the centralized entities that are starting to look at blockchain, once they understand the ability, because it's almost all financial underpinnings, everything we talk about. I mean, that's really the key value of everything we do, right? Business happens because there's a financial incentive. Most of the things we do on a day-to-day basis are powered by financial underpinnings, whether you're driving to work or you're buying food for the house. They may have other components to them, like that when was that apple grown? Where was it grown? Did they put pesticides? All of that can be tokenized, but it's got a financial underpinning that ties it all and brings it all together. And so over the next 18, and this is really why we focused on the credit union space as an analog, what we call an analog DeFi, and bringing them into the digital world of DeFi, is we see them being able to facilitate this nonprofit, low cost, less intermediaries way of doing business for the way the financial systems will work in the future. We don't see the chase, and I've had this discussion with Mance and with Lehman and with a bunch of other people. We kind of don't. Not saying that that Mance and Lehman say this, but I say it. I don't think Chase leads the model of Chase is the financial model of the future for the people. And I think businesses are going to start to understand that in the next 24 to 36 months. They're already starting to understand that, and they're starting to see that this decentralized financial model has a real possibility here. And if I can work directly with the other business and I don't have to rely on a bank taking a percentage, it's the whole idea of, if you and I are trading $50 and we're giving each other cash for that $50, well, first, that's got some problems because I've got to see you, I've got to hand deliver that. But if I'm using cash, that cash still remains $50 as far down the line as you take it. Once you introduce a bank into the equation, that $50 10 times down the line or 15 times down the line is only worth $40 or $35. And that's how banks stay in business. And when you introduce something like Hedera specifically, that has a low, I mean, it's so low that you don't even have to consider it as part of an operating cost because it's sub pennies. Okay. I mean, you do, but in some respects, it's sub pennies. It's always the same. Doesn't matter if you're sending, with a credit card, you send $1,000, it's 3% every time you send it. So whatever that is, it's 3%. With Hedera, it's not. It's that same exact cost every single time. And so when you start to look at this, and when you start to look at a two institutions, B2B, being able to talk to each other directly, not just for sharing data. That's one thing, right? Like, oh yes, my product hit your warehouse floor. Give me my money, right? It's there. Give me my money. But now being able to take out all those other intermediaries, including the intermediaries that are facilitating the whole, hey, did it hit your warehouse? Oh, I don't know. Send the file to this Dropbox, and then I'll go pick it up from that Dropbox in 2 hours, and then I'll process. That's all gone. That's all leaving. All of that is leaving. Those intermediaries are all leaving, and so it's not just the $50. It's all those intermediaries you're paying in the middle to transact that business. All of that can now start to be stripped away, and businesses can start working together directly. And these intermediaries are going to start to become code, and they can start to process transactions for these super, super low fees. And I think that's really where Hedera stands head and shoulders. Forget the technology for a second. To Celestial's point, you can argue with people about if Cardano is faster and settles better than whatever. Okay, whatever. What you can't argue about is the cost of doing a transaction and what that means to my bottom line. You can't argue that because the cost of a transaction on Hedera fluctuates all day. There's no arguing that point. It doesn't on Hedera. And so when you're looking at it from a pure business aspect, will they start to see CeFi and DeFi and start to migrate towards DeFi? Yes. But I really think it takes something like a Hedera, and that's why you're seeing all these enterprise use cases spin up on Hedera. It really takes something like a Hedera to create the business case. I'm extremely surprised that PayPal decided to launch on Ethereum. I'm glad they did because it just shows, kind of where their mindset's at, which is probably not in the right place. But to me, that's you can't buy ice cream with a PYUSD on Ethereum. You can't do it. And if you can do it, that means that it's custodial and it's not your keys and it's not your crypto. And so you shouldn't do it. So there's not really a winning solution there. When you talk about Hedera, there is a winning combination, there's a winning formula, and you start to see these institutions understand what that means. And that's why they're starting to, I mean, look, eventually I can tell you what's going to happen with, I don't know this for a fact, but I can, kind of prophesize what's going to happen with Hyundai and Kia. They're eventually going to figure out ways to monetize those carbon credits. Governments are starting to pay companies. They're putting money out there. They're paying money for carbon credits, right? For tracking, for retaining carbon, for reducing carbon, for sequestering carbon. These are starting to become real things. And if you can track it, if you can track exactly where in the line, either the production line or some machine, let's say you're measuring your carbon output on a scrubber, and now you have an Internet of Things device that's writing directly on chain, and now you can prove that before it was emitting 1 ton per minute of CO2, but now it's only emitting you're sequestering that entire carbon. You can prove it, it's measurable, it's on chain, it's immutable. You can now tokenize it, you can now finance it. I mean, there are so many different possibilities with that Kia and Hyundai, they've got to be thinking about those opportunities. They're leaving money on the table if they're not. And I think that's why they have stepped into this, because they can prove it. It's very easy to prove. It's on chain. It's immutable. It's not in some Oracle database behind the scenes that some developer can go at the flick of a few buttons change records on. It doesn't exist like that. And so I think you're really going to start to see these use cases become significantly more sophisticated, significantly more ingrained in the day-to-day operations and the financial operations and the logistical operations of these companies. And it's a very exciting time. I think 10 years ago, I thought we were early. I still think we're early, but now we're jumping over the chasm of early adopters to the early majority, and now coming into the rest of the market, understanding that there's a true future, an evolutionary step in how we conduct and transact and work with each other.
That's brilliant. And any thoughts on a conference for us?
Yeah, so what we were thinking about doing is, Becky and I have been going to a lot of conferences. And so what we're thinking about doing is we've seen a lot of success in like sub conferences. So Becky's part of something called CU Underground, which is a kind of a sub conference that goes to other conferences and creates its own little sub conference. And so what we may end up doing is picking one of these large conferences, doing a sub conference, and then not only inviting our community, but also inviting people from the Hedera community, inviting people from the credit union community, and creating this kind of synergistic dialogue around, what, you're not from the credit union space. Why are you here? Well, I'm here because, credit unions are where I found out I need to be doing all my fun, and show everybody that, nonprofit financial inclusion is the optimal way for people to transact with each other. So that's kind of how we're looking at this, because we really feel like it'll bring together these shared ethos, this shared vision, and it'll open up people's eyes to each other and say, oh man, you are a real person. You are a real boy. We don't have a time yet, Salvador, but Becky and I have been, we thought about that. I know that there was a time last year where we were thinking about doing a smaller one as a subset of maybe Consensus or something like that. But that's more of a Web3 only thing. I think what we want to do is we start wanting to marry these communities that, the credit union space is not a Web3 space. Let's marry them to us, and let's let both sides understand that there is a real future that we all believe in, because that's what it takes. It takes people believing, and then they will achieve. You can't achieve something that there aren't people believing that they can do. So that's what we've got to do. That's why these spaces and doing these more often are really critical, because they help us align this thought, this vision, and turn that into a result, an achievable result. So that's kind of the idea right now. We'll be back in touch with some more ideas on that. There are some big events happening. We kind of want it to be central. There's a big one coming up in Denver in a couple months. Denver's great because there's a great hub there. Frontier's there. It's really cheap to get in and out. I think most places in the country can get there for less than 30, 40 bucks, 50 bucks on a one-way, round trip, less than $100. And so that's a possibility for doing this. And that's a really big conference. So and it's a technology conference too. So it might be a good place to marry the different communities together and have a really great outpouring and show of support from everybody.
Awesome, thank you. Well, BankSocial's made a believer out of me and many others here, I'm sure. So looking forward to participating in that.
Thanks, Sal. All right, guys. Well, we've got just a few more minutes. We can open it up to maybe one or two more questions, and then we've got to go.
Should I get over? Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Michael, I see your request. All right, brought you up.
Hey, Michael.
Updates. It sounds awesome. Big developments continuing to be had. When am I going to hear back from you? Get back to me, please. And talk later.
I was just reaching out to you because I heard that a lot of the what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago, a lot of Coast Guard deployed. And I was just calling to check up on you to see how you were doing, seeing if you were okay, if you got deployed or what happened. We do need to talk too about BAFQ because we did talk about maybe, I know you were on the forming, the governing kind of board of the last version we were trying to do. And so we thought having a community member being part of that, and I know you expressed interest. So Becky and I will reach out to you here in the next couple of days. We've got another meeting coming up with our BAFQ board, so I'll see if we can't sync up to get you into that one. But that was really why I was reaching out.
Absolutely. I'll wait for the contact.
All right, everybody. Well, Becky and I have to run. It was great. All the love and all the power. We really love this community, both the BankSocial community and the Hedera community. We're really coming together as one. Like we said, these are going to start to happen a lot more often. Wallets coming out. It's just a really, really exciting time to be here with everything we have. Love the team, love the community. Thank you all very much, and have a fantastic rest of your week.
Take care, everyone.